Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I wanted to actually talk about a few things here, talk about the future of The Walking Dead because of a post that was made recently actually that is kind of exciting and really interesting, and it is sort of a feeling that I have right now about The Walking Dead and what it's going to be like over the next couple of years. And then yeah, I do want to get into the Q&A here at the end of the video. So definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. I think there's some Last of Us questions in there as well. I will be posting my episode 2 or I guess my trailer breakdown or whatever for The Last of Us, and that will be out later on today, so stay tuned for that. I'm so excited for episode 2, and honestly a really awesome response to The Last of Us. I think that overall people are very excited about the show right now, and so yeah, I'm excited to talk about it as well, so stay tuned for that video. But I wanted to talk about this post here that was made like a couple of days ago here. I talked about it for like a second, but I didn't really get into it at all in like a video a couple of days ago. But yeah, it's this post here from @TWU Filming on Twitter, or I guess X, and it says, "This isn't the end, but I will not be posting as many filming updates out of respect for hardworking cast and crew. I'll keep you posted on bigger announcements and any scoop I hear. For now, I'll say the tides seem to be shifting in the Walking Dead universe in the near future." So really interesting. The account is saying it's not the end. It will post, still updates on like bigger things, this and that, but not as many, updates, I guess, just out of respect for the hardworking cast and crew, which is, awesome. I think that if there's some big spoilery moments in terms of like a post-credit scene or certain characters returning or like where the story could go, if Rick Grimes is going to be back or something like that, like you don't want to see that leaked online or anything like that and stuff like that. Like that's where I personally don't talk about things like that because it's a little bit too spoilery, right? Like if there's articles written about it and everything, then maybe I'll talk about it. But like besides that, it's just, it is a little bit too much. And so, yeah, this is very cool. But what's interesting is what was said at the very end of the post here, which is, "For now, I'll say the tides seem to be shifting in the Walking Dead universe in the near future." So that part there is very interesting because if things are starting to shift and I guess starting to change, right, in the Walking Dead universe in the near future, I think that means that we are starting to actually get some sort of a, I guess, Endgame series. I feel like we're starting to go in that direction right now. And I think that, we're going to get some sort of announcement of something in like 2 weeks from now, right? On April 30th, there's going to be like that big event or whatever for The Walking Dead Dead City. I think they will announce a season 3 and a season 4 and that they are going to be filming that this summer or whatever, back to back, just based off of what @TWU Filming was saying. Some characters could be returning. I don't know who, like Dwight, I really do feel like is going to return. Any sort of connection with Rick as well, like we'll talk about that, but I think that is also very, very possible. And so yeah, I am very curious as to where things are going to be going here in the next couple of years here for The Walking Dead, because it does feel like we are building to something like that. Like we're building to a new series with Rick or other shows, or there's going to be some stuff actually starting to happen, because I do think that if you're Scott Gimple and you looked at the way The Walking Dead has been over the last year, it hasn't been the best place. Like the finale for The Ones Who Live was very mixed. And I think that overall what happened to The Walking Dead after that, everything was just not that exciting. And I do think that because, Daryl Dixon season 2, the writing and filming and all that already happened. And then Dead City, at least for season 2, like obviously they just got into a lot of that. So like they couldn't make a lot of changes and all that. So I think that's why the last year has just been like, like there hasn't been that much excitement for The Walking Dead, but things have changed. Season 3 of Daryl Dixon looks exciting. Dead City season 2 looks really good. And it seems like there could be something in terms of a post-credit scene for this show. And I'm curious as to where things are going to go here now in the future. It seems like they are starting to actually change things here. And maybe we will actually see Rick Grimes' return very soon, because I think that is something a lot of people are asking about all the time. Like everyone wants to see the characters reuniting, and it's just something that I think if we knew when it was going to happen, or like some sort of announcement of something, whether it was other spinoffs or just something like that, like a new series with Rick, everyone just wants a direction. Like it's just something that in terms of announcing a new season, like, oh, we're getting a season 3 or another season of this show or another season of that show, right? Like that's fine, but it gets frustrating when we don't really know where things are overall going. Like if we knew that in a couple of years from now, all the characters were going to reunite, then it's like, all right, cool. We can watch every season and see how all the stories on all the shows are going to build together, right? And it's kind of frustrating because I think that Gimple wants to do that, but I think AMC should just honestly announce that and have a plan here for The Walking Dead. I'm sure they have a plan, but like maybe announce something like that and be very committed to telling that story here over the next couple of years and building up to that, right? So we'll have to wait and see where this goes here, but it's interesting. I'll just say that. Like the post here saying that the tides seem to be shifting here in the Walking Dead universe in the near future. That's exciting because I do think that, all the reunions and everything are going to be happening very soon here, but let's actually get into the Q&A here. I wanted to add it to this video here because if I did 2 Walking Dead videos today, it would just be a lot because I also want to do a Last of Us video. So yeah, first of all, thank you so much for posting all of your questions. I really do appreciate it, but let's actually get into the very first question here. So Q&A, do you think there's any chance of a Walking Dead and The Last of Us crossover? Oh, that would be really cool if there was a way to do that. Like, I just keep picturing some of the characters like Daryl, in the Last of Us world and dealing with the clickers and everything like that. I think that would be really cool to see how those characters would survive. I mean, I don't think there's a chance of any of this happening unless it was like I don't even honestly know how something like this would happen. It would have to be like a really fun event, but like the characters are so serious and like they're written a certain way where I just don't know how a lot of that would happen. It would be so cool, but I don't know if you could really believe an event like that, like for the story, right? Like I'm picturing Rick being very serious about like, oh, like there's clickers here, like what's going on right now and learning how to survive. And everyone would be having so much fun with it, but the story would just be very, dark and like it's all about survival and everything. So I just don't know if it would work overall. And I don't even think like they would actually make a deal to do something like that, but it would be cool. Honestly, I think that something like that would be a lot of fun. If they announced something like that, it would get a lot of people watching, but I don't think that's going to happen. Like I think if AMC owned the rights to The Last of Us, I could see that. Or if HBO owned the rights to The Walking Dead, I could see it, but yeah, I don't think there's any chance of that happening. Q&A, do you think the Croat and the Dama's names will be revealed? What do you think their names are? My prediction is Charlie and Nancy, LOL. I don't know. Like maybe we do get, their real names because I guess those names are just names that they sort of came up with, but I don't know. Like everyone knows those characters' names as that. We could get a lot more, I guess, of a backstory there for sure. I think the characters are probably going to die. Like I could see one of the characters surviving to season 3, but I think that one of those characters will die. And I think that Dama is most likely going to die because of the ending of season 1 and what she did to Herschel. And I think Maggie going back there to Manhattan, to get revenge. I think it just makes sense a lot. I think that she probably will Lucille her. That's my prediction. The Croat, I think, like, honestly, I could totally see him surviving to season 3. I don't think he's surviving the series. Like maybe he does, but the Dama for sure I think is going to be gone this season. And so maybe they get into a backstory thing with her, but everyone knows these characters as those names. So I don't know if they really will spend the time to do that. Q&A, are you overall satisfied with the direction of the shows? I'm growing increasingly under the opinion that the CRM arc could have just been put into the Commonwealth arc somehow. Well, I will say I am now overall happy with the direction of all the shows. I think for Dead City, I was a little, concerned, before season 2. I was concerned after watching season 1 because it seemed really interesting, but I just couldn't picture what season 2 was going to be like. And now seeing all the trailers and seeing the actual direction they went in, I'm very happy with that. And I think if they did a season 3 and 4, you had Dwight come back, if there's a possibility of Rick showing up and all of that, like, honestly, really incredible. I think that, yeah, Dead City is looking like a really great show right now. For The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, season 3 looks really good, but I would say that, that's what I mean. I'm overall happy with it. I just think that season 2 was not the greatest season. And so I think if we didn't get the trailer for season 3, I would be concerned. I would be very concerned because after season 2, it was just honestly a mess. And it was hard to see where they were going to go for a season 3. But after seeing the trailer, like I'm definitely very excited for that. For The Ones Who Live, I mean, that show might just be a 1-season thing. Like we might get a new series. In terms of the direction to have Rick and Michonne come back, like, yeah, I guess I'm happy with that. Like the CRM, it definitely could have been a different arc. And I feel like, yeah, the CRM arc could have been teased a lot more during the Commonwealth story for sure. I don't really understand why they didn't do any of that. That's really, really frustrating. So the CRM arc is just kind of what it is. I'm more excited to have Rick and Michonne back and to introduce like new villains and to learn a lot more about other things as of right now. So yeah, I'm overall very happy with The Walking Dead. I think I'm just, the CRM arc was very disappointing and I just just don't really want to look back on that anymore. Like, I just kind of want to move forward and be excited about newer stories and all of that, because I think that there's stuff that can be way more exciting. Like Andrew Lincoln talked about that last year, right? Like, to bring Rick back, he would like, simplistic survival horror to be more of a focus for Rick's like next story. And I think that that is something that I would absolutely love. Like, that is what I like about The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon and The Walking Dead Dead City. And I think that The Ones Who Live just needed a little bit more of that. And so I'm more excited about the future right now. And so, yeah, I'm overall happy with where things are at, because it seems like things are starting to go more in a positive direction compared to a couple of months ago after the season 2 finale of Daryl Dixon aired. Well, actually, just before that, I'm trying to think of like when the worst time was. And I feel like just before episode 4 or like after episode 4 of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 2. Things felt really bad, I would say. But then again, we had The Walking Dead to watch, so it was kind of exciting. But like the summer just before was just like, what's going on, right? I think right now we're in a really good place. Like, things seem to be going in a very positive direction. There's going to be crossovers, and like the post I was talking about earlier in this video, like I'm excited for The Walking Dead again right now. Q&A, we know there's going to be a crossover Endgame style series that will be coming eventually. Do you think there will be some sort of war that occurs between the Commonwealth and the CRM? I don't know about that. I think, like, the thing is, I've always talked about that before too. Like, at first I thought that maybe something like that could happen, but then eventually I got to the point where I was like, it makes no sense, because the Commonwealth would lose, right? Like, the CRM is way too powerful. They would lose right away. So it would have to be something else. And the other thing that I suggested was maybe Madame Genet and the variant walkers versus the CRM and the Commonwealth, right? That makes a lot of sense. And then after we watched The Ones Who Live, it made a lot more sense with the CRM being more, I guess the heroes now, right? So, but now it makes no sense at all, because Madame Genet is gone, right? So it will be something else. There's going to be something else introduced here. We could be seeing it in Dead City here with Bruegel and whatever is happening here. There's the New Babylon Federation. They could be getting into some stuff here right now. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't think a war is going to happen at all between the Commonwealth and the CRM. I think that the Commonwealth, for the most part, is not really going to be mentioned too much anymore, unless there's like characters that are like leaders at the Commonwealth, or they're like living there or something. It's not going to be anything that's going to be a big part of the story. It would be really cool though, honestly. Like, I think that it makes a lot of sense to actually have the Commonwealth like soldiers there. Maybe their armor gets an upgrade or something like that. But yeah, for the CRM, they're not villains anymore. So Q&A, given the overwhelming success of HBO's The Last of Us, despite the core similarities to The Walking Dead game Season 1, do you think an adaptation would be snubbed like The Walking Dead was at award shows like the Emmys, or do you think it could receive the same widespread success and not be dragged down by The Walking Dead Needs to End reputation? I think that reputation is just so silly, to be honest, because there's so many other shows and movies out there that are still going on after like decades. Like, I just honestly don't understand all of that. Like, it's kind of an annoying reputation overall, because I would say the same thing. Like, yeah, Marvel needs to end, right? Like, the only reason why people say that Marvel should still keep going on is because, well, there's comics. Well, if Robert Kirkman wanted to, he could keep telling comic stories. And also, a lot of this discussion was happening after like season 7 or 8 or season 6 of The Walking Dead, and the comics were still going and still went until the very end of season 11. So I think that it's a very just frustrating, reputation to have. And I think if they did do a Telltale's adaptation at some point, I don't know if it would be, nominated at all. I don't know. For me at this point, I just feel like anything Walking Dead related is not going to get nominated. I don't understand why. I really don't understand why. Like, when you're looking at the spinoffs now, like, honestly, like watching Dead City season 1, the visuals are so much better than The Last of Us. And the story is, I guess, it's the story of the games. And so the story you might have to give to The Last of Us overall, but the writing's really great for Dead City. Like, honestly, I just don't understand that. I would just have to say that I just don't think any Walking Dead show is going to get nominated for an Emmy really ever. I would be very surprised if something like that ever happened. But I'm going to leave it here. Thank you for posting all of your questions. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.